So what do we have here?
I have a 1965 Danelectro Longhorn bass owned by John Entwistle of The Who.
Seriously?
One of his first basses that he ever owned.
That is amazing. The Who is one of the greatest rock bands ever. Do you mind if I pick it up?
No, go ahead.
Can you picture me on stage?
I've never seen somebody make a bass guitar look so uncool in my entire life.
John Entwistle, he was voted bass player of the millennium amongst his contemporaries. I'd like to get about $50,000 for it. I was married recently and decided, well, we could use the money for some other things like a home.
It's a pretty amazing guitar, I'll give you that. All the other kids were listening to Led Zeppelin, I was listening to The Who.
They're part of the English invasion, right?
It's called the British Invasion.
Okay, British invasion.
The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, The Who, and no one ever gets number 4.
David Bowie.
The Kinks. One of the reasons The Who became so big was because John Entwistle was one of the best bass players on the planet. He was one of the first guys to really experiment with feedback. He was a real rock star. It's in remarkably good shape. Do we know if he recorded anything with it?
He's been quoted in books as saying that he originally tried to record My Generation with this guitar, but he kept breaking the strings and then had to resort to a Fender Jazz bass for the final recording, so.
All right, and the rest is history.
What's up with the Sotheby's tag? Is that where you got it?
Sotheby's auction at John's estate sale on May 13th, 2003. It's listed in the Sotheby's catalog.
All right. It's definitely cool, man. How much do you want for it?
$50,000.
American dollars.
Yes.
It's really important that they played it on a song, an album, on stage.
Well, I'm not going to stand here and try to play guitar expert. That's what Jesse's for. So let me give him a call, and you guys nerd out about The Who or whatever you do. All right?
Okay. Since I can't confirm it was ever played on stage or in a recording, I'm a little iffy on what it's worth. I'm absolutely positive that Jesse will have a better idea than me. This is it. This is one of John Entwistle's basses.
Wow, this is pretty cool.
I've seen, Danelectro guitars. I really haven't seen any basses.
Well, Danelectro is kind of a beginner to middle of the road instrument, but they have a really neat sound, and a lot of guys picked them up and started using them because of that.
All right. He says that he played this in the studio. Okay. I'm looking at this thing, and I'm looking at the finish on it. It doesn't look like it's been played.
I mean, you probably wouldn't see a lot of wear on John stuff, and he held his hands like this. He wasn't a guy that was like a guitar player slamming his arm through it.
Okay.
I mean, we can plug it in, make sure everything works if you want.
Grab an amp.
All right, I'll grab him.
Danelectro, they were made really well, and they were made different from anything else at the time. And they have a really distinct sound and a very collectible guitar in its own right. Yep, cool. Sounds cool.
Now, the big question, what do you think it's worth now? It's not documented, recorded a major song with it. And he's asking 50 now.
If you were to find one of these in mint condition, it's probably about a $2,000 bass. Now, with the provenance of being John Entwistle, probably anywhere between 10 and 15, that'd be like a retail price.
This is one of his originals.
It is what it is. It's not the one that he used to play My Generation on the recording with. It's one of his secondary basses. Yeah.
All right.
Take care.
See ya.
Definitely a cool bass, man. All right, thanks a lot.
Think about a haircut.
Yeah, I'll think about it. It's cool that it was Entwistle's. It's cool that he probably played it on stage a lot, but I think 50 grand was a little much.
When you first told me, you wanted 50, I had my doubts, but it was The Who, and I was thinking maybe there was something special. But I would give you 10 grand for it. That would be the top dollar.
The bass player of the millennium.
But the thing is, there's probably over 100 of his guitars out there. No, I mean, 10,000's it. It's what the guitar is worth.
Well, being the Who fan that I am, I think I'll have to keep it, but if I ever do decide to sell it, though, I'll let you know.
Okay. Give me a call if you change your mind.
Okay. With him being such an iconic bass player, the least amount I would take is about $30,000. My wife said she'll move back to Texas if I take any less than that, so.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, I have something I want you to take a look at.
Yeah, I've got about all the crappy suitcases I need, bud.
Well, this isn't just any case. This is a hybrid rocket mounted in a case.
A hybrid rocket?
Did I hear that this is a rocket?
What, your nerd radar go off?
It's a pretty cool thing to have. I've always been into building things, and I actually built a rocket-powered bicycle. It got me kicked out of the dorm in college. I'm hoping to get $3,000 for it, just because the parts are high value.
Where did you get this?
I work for a rocket scientist in Huntsville, and he gave it to me.
This is like a demonstration model or something like that?
Yeah. We basically needed a way to show off the technology. This designer was the chief propulsion engineer for Spaceship One, and that became Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, which is going to take very rich people to space.
This is pretty damn cool. I cannot believe that we have the engine prototype for Richard Branson's Galactic. This might not look like much, but this shows the principles used in a rocket engine that will take people to space one day. What we think of as a rocket really wasn't invented until World War II by the Nazis. The V-2 rocket that were next to impossible to shoot down because they were so damn fast.
Right.
Well, how much thrust does the thing put out?
You get about 5 pounds.
Okay, this thing weighs more than that, so we're gonna have rocket thrust, but this thing isn't going anywhere.
Right. We've balanced it right so that it won't go off into your neighbor's house or something.
Okay. What does it run off of?
But it runs off of nitrous oxide and plastic acrylic.
The nitrous oxide, you have a tank down here or something like
Yeah,
that?
there's a small tank.
Goes into this tube, it gets real hot, which strips the nitrogen from the oxygen, so you have oxygen that burns with the acrylic.
Right.
How the hell do you know all that?
Because I read books on chemistry and rocket science.
You should read a book on being a better father.
So what are all these knobs and everything?
This knob is what controls the amount of nitrous oxide. Then you have the acrylic here, and we made it so you can see the combustion happening on the inside. This is where you fill nitrous oxide at. This is where you can attach an igniter if you want to use the button to ignite it.
Does it work?
Oh yeah, I can fire it right up.
Let's bring it in my back lot. We're not firing it up in here.
All right.
This rocket does get a lot of cool points, but if it works, the inner nerd in me really wants it.
All right, so I've got the fuse in. I'm just gonna use a regular lighter and I'm gonna light the fuse.
And then when it burns in there, you turn on the nitrous oxide.
Yeah.
That's really high-tech lighting system for a rocket.
Yeah, it's the best way.
Nice. Holy sh**. Look at that thing. That's incredible. I was kind of hoping it would be spectacular, blast around, giant flame, but it was still pretty cool. Big question is, what do you want for it? I don't mean to be mean, but I was expecting a 20-foot flame and things like that.
We're looking for 3,000. It's got a lot of really high pressure valves, fittings.
I don't see $3 grand. I just don't.
What do you see?
I was thinking like $100.
I got a lot more money in this than parts.
But who am I gonna sell it to?
Hey, you never know when a rocket scientist is gonna walk in.
But a rocket scientist is the kind of guy who would build this himself. You're stuck at $3 grand?
I could go 2,500, but that's about all.
It's just not gonna happen, dude.
Yeah, well, I guess we don't have a deal then.
Thanks though, dude.
Yeah, thanks for seeing. This thing was definitely worth $3,000. It takes a lot of time to design and build and research everything. I definitely think he made a mistake not making a deal.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing?
Okay. Oh, whoa. This is like the first one.
The very first Walkman.
Where did you get this?
I collect Walkmans, and I got this one in Japan.
Ah, cool. Can I take it out?
Go ahead.
I remember in 1985, if you had the little Walkman, you were like the coolest thing on the
That's
planet.
right.
And this changed everything.
I'm at the pawn shop to sell my Sony Guys and Dolls Special Edition Walkman. I would like to get $1,000 to take my family on vacation, but I'm not going to take less than $600.
Sony came out with this and sort of changed portable music altogether. I mean, it truly was revolutionary. Before this, there really wasn't anything that was portable and practical.
Right.
There was transistor radios that were before this, but quite frankly, they sucked. There was terrible reception. They were mono, they weren't stereo. You know, the cassette tape, basically came out in 1979. There was the boom boxes and everything like that, but you can't really go jogging with like a boom box sitting on your shoulder, you know what I mean? When they first came out with it, they thought it would be rather rude to be walking around with headphones on. So they put 2 headphone jacks in it, and all their advertising were 2 people listening to music. And they very quickly realized that people didn't have a problem being antisocial and walking around with headphones on. And almost 30 years, I've yelled at kids for doing that. So does it work?
It does. I've got a tape right here that I can play.
Okay. I know there was like a really limited number of them they put the Guys and Dolls on.
Correct. That's the one that everybody wants.
It's a neat thing to be having on your shelf. How much you want for it?
I would like to get $1,000 for this Walkman.
I'll give you $600 for it. $600 is a really fair price.
700. I'll throw in the tape. Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever, the tape is? All right, you got a deal. I'll meet you right over there, and we'll do some paperwork.
All right.
This thing's great.
You got some pretty sweet dance moves over there. What are you doing, dude?
Nothing.
I saw you cutting the rug over there.
I know I can't dance, all right?
You're over there vibing, though. What do you got going?
This right here is the original Walkman dual headphone jack. Guys and Dolls version.
Let me see. This thing has a mic, too. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Can I listen with you? I think I got some headphones around here.
Sure, you can listen. I got some things to do. You gotta come with me.
Listen to stuff on your phone.
Hater alert. Plug me in.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
What is that? If it keeps him entertained for a while, fine.
A friend of mine, Derek, gave me a call and said he has something that's way too big to bring in the shop, and said I might not necessarily want it, but if I could sell it for him, maybe there's a little something for me in the deal.
Hey, Rick, how you doing?
Doing good, man. What's going on?
Thanks for coming by.
These are amazing.
So here's the story. We just bought this property. I don't know anything about trains, so you're the first guy I had to call.
Well, they're private cars. I mean, these things were like the G5 of the day. Can I look at it?
Sure.
I mean, it looks real cool. Did you pay extra for the trains?
No, it came with the property. I'm Derek Stevens, and I'm the owner of the D Las Vegas Hotel and Casino. We were a little surprised that the property came with 2 trains, but if they're worth something of substance, then yeah, I'd love to sell them. We're going to be building on this property here, so these trains have to go somewhere. The most important thing is they've got to go to the right home.
Wow. I mean, I drove by this thing a million times. I never
know.
thought it was like this inside. Yeah, this is like literally one of the ultimate displays of wealth back in the day. This was the Rockefellers, the Astors. It was like right around 1900 because you can sell that Victorian style with the velvet. Everything's tufted, you know, the gold roping and everything else like that. The more opulent, the better. This was $10 million in today's money. It really was. That's most likely a bed right there that pops out of the wall. The staff, that's where they would sleep. They're really wealthy. They would bring along their own cook. They would bring along some servants. You have a desk right here. You would have like guys that you're involved with business. Can I see the rest of it?
Yeah, come on.
This thing's like the size of a 747 almost. There's a bedroom. I mean, this is really, really impressive. There's probably a handle somewhere. You could take this another bed that would come down. It wouldn't surprise me. The couch also turned into a bed. I mean, you had your own bathroom, which is, I imagine, a lot nicer than the ones they had for the general public. Another really cool thing is that it's 110-volt AC. They were still competing between DC and AC at the time. So before you plug something in, you better know what you were plugging in. Next room?
All right. We got the formal dining room over here.
Wow. This is, this thing has just been sitting in downtown Las Vegas. You walk inside and you're literally walking 110 years in the past.
You think you can get $1 million for these two?
I have no idea. I mean, the thing is, you can't just look up and see what the last one sold for. But I do have some pretty wealthy clients that are into train stuff. So, do you mind if I call a buddy of mine, Mark Halpatton? He runs Clark County Museum.
That'd be great.
Just so he can give me some more info, so when I go to shop this thing, I might sort of sound like I know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of intriguing things about this car. Everything from the pieces on the car to the whole car. So I want to find out more about it, but I think I can make money off this thing.
Hey, Rick.
Mark!
How you doing? Nice.
How's it going?
Hey,
Derek
it's good to meet you.
Derek has acquired the Pullman car. Well, I think it's a Pullman car.
Yes, it is a Pullman car. I have looked at these from the street many times. You know, Pullman did a lot of different kinds of cars. They did passenger cars and all of that. It was a car manufacturing company, but they did these executive cars. And this one, in fact, was built in 1902 for the president of the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad.
So have you ever been inside this car?
No, I haven't. Do you mind if I take a look around in it?
Yeah,
Go
please
ahead.
Oh, thank you. The modern equivalent of one of these cars would be like a very high-end private jet. You did want to have your bed connected to the wall, just in case you had to stop fast. You lived in this, you had servants, the kitchen. You had a cook on board, you met with your colleagues and other business partners. If you were getting a little chilly, you could turn up the heat. This was an enclosed office building, in effect, on rails. This is nice. The car is beautiful. I mean, it's in surprisingly nice shape for having just sat out in the air here for decades. There's a few things that are a little more modern than it would have been originally. That doesn't matter. This is just a very nice car.
So this wasn't a conversion.
No, no, it wasn't.
Dude, you've given me a great start.
Thank you. And thanks for showing me. This
Hey, Mark,
is really
thanks a lot.
cool.
Yeah.
We'll see you.
I might be calling you some more on this. All right.
That's fine. There are actually people that use these cars today that buy them and restore them and then will pay to hook them onto a freight train or something as a way of going across the country and recreating a lifestyle that's long gone.
All right, dude, I think I can sell this thing.
Well, I appreciate it.
I just really just so nerding out on this thing. I absolutely love it. Like this thing even still works. To actually buy this thing and store this thing somewhere would cost a fortune. And it's way too much of a risk. So what I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna try and find a buyer. I'm gonna have that buyer go direct to Derek, and I'm gonna make a little money in the middle. I think it's 80 feet long. The nicer one, it was built in 1902.
He's been on the phone all day. What's up?
Yeah, they're both Pullmans. You really need to come out and take a
What
look
are
at
you
it.
doing, Rick?
All right, I'll see you later. I'm trying to sell a train. I got people to call. I got to get this figured out.
Where'd you get a train?
From the train station, obviously.
I don't own a train. I know someone who has some old train cars who wants to sell them. If I can find someone to sell it, I can like middle the deal and make a little money out of it.
All right, well, I'm pressed for time. I'm brokering a space shuttle deal for NASA today. I gotta get out of here.
Let me know if the guy wants to buy the Brooklyn Bridge, too.
If it comes with a train, he might.
Do you guys take anything seriously?
Choo-choo.